Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. Today, I have a friend of mine to discuss about how not attending college can lead to a very successful life. Ryan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ryan Jordan. I'm a water treatment operator. I help provide 19 million people here in Southern California with their drinking water, and thanks for having me on.
So, Ryan, I did want to ask you some questions. A lot of times when we're graduating high school, we kind of have that struggle whether we want to go to college or not. What was your initial plan from graduating from high school? Did you think about college, or was it never part of your plan?
Right off the bat, it was never the go-to plan. I'm fortunate enough to have family in the industry that I'm in. So growing up, I would be going to work kind of with my dad or with my uncle and stuff here and there, and visiting the treatment plants, and just kind of always liked it and thought it was just fun, and was kind of like impressed that you get to go to work to those places every day. And so that's what I kind of wanted to do growing up. One thing my dad told me when we were like having the discussions of what I'm going to do with my future is water industry is a great field to get into. If you don't like it, then of course, college or a different career path's always there to pursue as well.
And do you think for you personally, college is an option in your future?
That's a tough one. I fight with that, almost on a daily basis. If I would have started, 28 now, almost 28, if I would have started when I was 19, just like taking a couple classes here and there for free through like my works, then I would have already had a degree. But on the other hand, just not at the point in my life where I want to dedicate time towards it. It won't necessarily benefit me in my career path, but we'll see. It's always in the books.
No, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
I think for me, going to college I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
So it helped kind of guide me into the right path. Joining different classes, or even at the time I thought I was going to be a business major, and I took some business classes, and it wasn't for me. Kind of trying it out did help.
But no, I can definitely see that. I think it's very hard, and to expect kids that are 18 years old to just kind of know what they want to do and make them go do that. So yeah, going to college definitely allows you to try some different things and kind of see fields you might be interested in. It's just kind of unfortunate. It seems like it's such like a sunken cost. Like once you choose one, they make it seem like that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think another route is also community college. It kind of allows you to just kind of go on a self-discovery journey while not paying, the consequences of maybe going to university as.
Yeah.
I mean, I think looking back, I would have preferred going to community college for the reason what you just mentioned, that at 17, 18, it's so unfair to expect someone at that age to know what they want to do for the rest of their life. I think many of us end up doing something different along the way. At least in my experience, my friends who I went to college with, they're either doing something similar but not exactly what they expected, or something completely different.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's also just life in general.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think community college is a great route. I mean, I went to multiple different ones, just different water classes and stuff like that. But I think, that would be the way to go. Just knock out your general ed there. I mean, it's so much more affordable.
Yeah. So when you were in high school, did you ever, I know you mentioned how your family is already in the water industry. Did you ever feel pressured from anybody to need to go to college?
Socially, it was, all your friends or people classmates, of course, would be like, hey, where are you going next year? Get nowhere, I'm not going anywhere, honestly. They'd be like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to work in water. And they're just like, what does that even mean, But no, I think it was worth it. Yeah, I have no regrets. And on the other hand, I also didn't feel pressure to get into the water field either. It just happens that my family already works into it, and I was introduced into it, and I couldn't be happier. I'm absolutely in love with it. So it's just so fun.
So what would you recommend for anybody who doesn't attend college but wants to find a full-time job right after high school? What was kind of the process that you took, and what did you learn from that?
There's a couple suggestions, and it's like now I'm at a time in my where like I'm a little skeptical to say it because I don't really agree with like unpaid internships, really, you know. I think that's a thing that seems to be very big in like the corporate world now, taking advantage of like college students' times and stuff like that, or even graduates' times. That shouldn't be the route you have to go, but that's one of the routes I did go. I basically emailed one of the county I lived in, started talking with them, and they have like volunteer positions, so you can get like on the job experience while you're like a student taking like water classes, and getting whatever certifications or like training you need for whatever job you need to get into, and having actual work experience doing it. You're already 100 steps ahead for all the entry-level positions compared to anyone else applying for those. Like I got to get actual experience, which like for me was just so invaluable. That'll never be taken away from me now. And like it was just fun, you know. It was cool like being able to actually learn and see like how the water distribution system works like underneath the street at like such a young age, and being like, oh, I didn't even know this actually existed. It just so happened to be that I didn't get paid for it. But that's also one of the other things is like, that's not like, even in my current position, I'm just more about, I get off on like troubleshooting and problem solving and learning, and that's what makes my job fun.
And I think you like hit it right on the target. Experience that goes a long way. And I think I've like students I had in college, and even now, like I try to emphasize that it doesn't matter how good you are in a class, if you got straight A's or even how bad you are in the class. It's like, how are you going to use the knowledge that you are learning? Like, how are you going to apply it and then learn how to get better at it? And that comes with experiences like internships, whether you go to college or not. I think that goes a lot further than just what we learn in a classroom environment. Yeah,
I think a lot of people just also learn better that way, and that's also me. Like I'm more of like a on the job training, like a visual learner. Like I learn by actually doing it. So you can almost look at it like if you like kind of flip the script like and look at that position, like I wasn't getting paid to do it, but if you look at it as like a classroom, like that was actually going to school for free, if that makes sense, versus paying to go sit in a classroom and not being like able to retain that information as well. So it kind of just depends how you look at it. Like I said, if you ever feel like you're being exploited for labor, then you should probably just move on to somewhere where you don't feel that way.
And so for somebody who might be struggling with this decision whether they should go to college or not right now, what would you recommend for them if they're like 18, 17 years old?
That just depends. If you're just absolutely clueless and like don't know what's out there or what you even might be interested in, nothing stands out, like you don't like working with your hands, or you don't know if you like working with your hands, or you don't necessarily find any of your subjects at school like interesting, then you should definitely, I would say, go to community college and just start figuring out, seeing what other people are doing kind of, and talk around and ask like what your family members do, because I know at that point in my life I pretty much was only focused on like what my dad's job was. I really don't know at that point. I didn't know like what my other family members did, like as for their job. So talk to your family, or friends' parents, and be like, what do they do? Talk to other people about different type of positions. But yeah, that's like one of the biggest problems. I think just like not knowing what even type of fields are out there as like potential job opportunities when you're at like such a young age, or even adults. A lot of adults I talk to didn't even know my position or like what I did was a thing,
I didn't know your job was a thing until I met you.
So the city I live in, they started a program with their high school students. The reason I know this is they asked to do a tour of my plant. So I got to give a tour to like 26 students, high school students, of my plant, and explain like the water treatment to them. and explain everything. And like, yeah, they were all clueless, you know, none of them knew like where their water came from.
Yeah.
And it was super cool. I mean, it was so fun, just exposing kids to like what's actually out there. I mean, that's like the number one step. That's the first step, you know. So yeah, in that group, there was a lot of people that wanted to be, a couple kids that wanted to be engineers, like mechanical engineers or like civil engineers, stuff like that. And that's cool because like it's cool to show them like my plant, because that's basically like an engineering like almost marvel. Like that's what, like my who I work for, we have like one of the largest engineering groups in the country. We have like over 500 engineers that work in my company. So it was kind of cool to like show them like what they would be doing like on mechanical or like civil engineer side of things. And I think like at the end, there was the end of my tour, because it was the first tour I've given to like students. I was like, so how'd I do? Like, did you guys hate me? You guys like me or what? Did I do okay? And like one of the girls was like, you know, we only came because they said they were going to give us extra credit. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, but I'm actually glad we came because like this was actually kind of cool. And I was like, oh, all right. Like that was like the coolest thing coolest compliment I've ever got, I guess. So
yeah, I think it's super important to expose others and then for us to go and learn about other things in the world, because there's so much out there that we might not be familiar with at this moment that can, you know, be our dream job or lead us to the career path that we want to, or just so many things. I mean, and it's okay if we change. Like if any student out there is listening, like if you change your mind, that's okay too. Take that leap of faith and just go for it. And at 17, 18, again, you're not meant to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. I think I think that's one of the most important things to make clear, that you'll discover it as you go along.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like what's so cool with like being in like an industry that I'm in. There's a lot of things I could go do, like because I didn't start here. I worked at various cities and literally worked my way up from the bottom, like complete entry level position, just digging holes in the street, fixing water leaks, to over the last almost 9 years, work my way up to where I'm at, which is the literal top of my field in the country. So that's pretty cool. And like, but at my work, there's everything. I mean, we have our own dive team. They just dive in reservoirs, like fix things, do inspections, and like they're just guys who love diving. And I think that's like so cool. Like that's even an option. So like. There's biology teams. We do have welders, machinists, all types of management positions, risk management, survey crews. Just an incredible amount of positions, to like things I didn't even know were actual like jobs until I got here. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to do someday, So
the diving team sounds cool.
Yeah, I know, right? Kind of crazy. So. Yeah, we have our own apprenticeship for mechanical and electrical craft members. So like, if that's ever something I wanted to get into, like it's a good career, go learn some more in a different field and still be able to work in my water field. So yeah, it's okay to change too. It's just, like I said, it's just exposure of what's actually out there, because you never know like what you might actually be interested in.
Yeah. Which is why I like to say to stay curious, right? To stay curious for what we don't know or how we can use what we already know, because we already have skills or interests like you had in high school that we just kind of have to continue developing and strengthening, and we'll figure it out that way. And I'd like to point out that for you and I, we both have the interest of problem solving and troubleshooting, but we pursued completely different career paths. So like anybody out there, if like you have similar interests, there's so much, like literally so much you can do with the interest you have right now. It's just really a matter of what we kind of keep trying to highlight is exposing yourself. It's researching what more is out there, because the possibilities are endless. Like there's always going to be, you always belong somewhere, it's just a matter of finding where you want to be.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I think that's just a good, way to be no matter what field you're in, you know, just wanting to continue learning, you know. So as long as you have that, I think you'll be fine and somewhat fulfilled in whatever you want to do.
I completely agree. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any like last minute advice that you'd like to give?
Yeah, just keep trying to learn. No matter what your, you know, what position you get or what field you're in, just keep learning and just always go like a little more than you have to, like above and beyond. Knowledge is just, it's a fun thing to have, honestly. It's what keeps work interesting, so.
I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you again, and everybody stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.